Welcome back, my turtles, to another art video with Foxfoot Crafts. And today's video is going to be a little bit of a longer video than some of my others, I feel like. This video is a recap of the April 30 Days of Rabbits challenge that I kind of put on myself. So I have sped up significantly the process for this, but I still think it's going to be a longer video just because it is 30 different art trading cards that are going to be in this set. Of course, y'all know the drill. I'm going through using Fire Alpaca, which again is a free program to go through and sketch out all of the rabbits. Now I do have a little template that I've made where I measured out 2.5 by 3.5 inch and kind of stacked them all together onto a sheet of 9 to try to save some space when working on them. Now, with this set, what I wanted to do, a couple years ago I participated in May, which is where I drew a different mermaid to a corresponding list for every day in May. I'm not gonna lie, I actually got super burnt out on mermaids. To this day, I really don't care to draw mermaids because of that. But I was interested in doing another challenge with a lot of different characters and figured that incorporating April and rabbit bunny girl characters would kind of be up my alley on it. And after I got them all done on Fire Alpaca, I go through and line them all on my paper. Now with these, I chose suffering. I got these watercolor markers from my mother-in-law as a gift-miss gift and decided, you know what, this is the set I want to use them on. If you're trying out something new for the first time, I don't recommend doing a whole set of 30 cards to do it, because what happens if you don't like it? So, in hindsight, maybe I should have saved these for a smaller set of cards, but that's okay. Now, the color palette is pretty limited on these, so I did also use some just regular markers that I had and kind of washed them, so like the browns, the blacks, but otherwise I was able to use the ones from my mother-in-law. Now for the backgrounds, I do like these markers for those. But as far as the piece itself, I don't hate these, but I don't think I will be using them heavily in my work. Now, whether or not that's because I just don't care for watercolors, I'm not sure. So that might be a bias part of this. And just the sheer quantity of making 30 cards, it's definitely easy to get yourself burnt out or to burn yourself out. So if you're going to take on one of those daily challenges, make sure it's something that you either really enjoy, or if you burn yourself out, you're not going to be real heartbroken about it. So but when I went through, I didn't have any prompt list specifically to follow. I just kind of told myself April was the month of rabbits, and so then I sat down and kind of thought, okay, well, what are some of my favorite rabbits from different cartoons, anime, animated shorts, video games, stuff like that. So got a whole variety of characters going on. With these too, so the way these markers work is they kind of have a brush nib, but it doesn't lay down a lot of color in one swoop. I don't know if that's because the marker bristles or if it's the paper. The paper that I'm using is Canson watercolor. It's got a lot of tooth and texture to the paper itself. So I would be curious to try these on a smoother paper and see if they make a difference. But it came with a water brush, and so the water brush, you know, has that empty barrel. You fill it with water and then wet the ink and kind of push it around, which is fine, but I just don't care for normal watercolors, so maybe this is like an in-between for me. But I have one water brush that I actually like, and I cannot find it. So the water brush that I used, I would try using some of my other ones that I've got in the past, and I didn't care for them. And so most of the time I ended up actually using the water brush that came with the kit. Now, a lot of times I do try to stamp them all at the end, but this set of cards took so long and I am so prone to burnout that I knew I had to kind of break up the work from them. So I would do a few fully, and then I would do some where I would just do the background part, and then I would stamp some, and then I would come back, and so this set took a while. And at some point, I couldn't get the water brush to cooperate, and so I would end up bringing in a little jar of water and just dipping the water brush, and I feel like that was kind of, you know, what's the point of having a water brush if you're going to just be dipping it like a normal paintbrush? So, but I digress. I was impressed with how many different rabbit characters there are out there. Of course, this set is by no means all of them. There are lots of other rabbit characters that are out there as well, but I tried sticking with like ones that I enjoy. I didn't include Lola Bunny, even though I really like her. I find Lola difficult to draw, and I always have, so she's not included in this. Sorry, Lola fans. Rewatching this to record the audio, I think it's funny that you can watch the nail polish change throughout the month of where I was working on these. So like, they'll change colors, and then some of them you'll see where the nails look really nice, and then progressively the polish just gets removed. And it definitely took a while for this set. And then some of them I would actually color on a little piece of plastic and then use the water to make like a watercolor ink to go over it. And that worked pretty well. Some of them, the more humanoid characters, I think, like the three from Melancholy of Haruhi Shizumiya, they did not turn out as well as I would like. I don't know if it's because I was trying skin tone or their characters just don't have a lot of color to them, but same with these three. They did not impress me as much as like the full rabbit characters. And then again, it might also be that, you know, these were closer to the end of the set, and so I was a little bit more burnt out on them. So I might go back and add some touches to them. But from there, I will finish these up and show you all the final pieces. All right, and let's go ahead and reveal everybody. We have Genji and Ruby and Coco from Animal Crossing. We have Fiona from Adventure Time, Score Bunny, Bunnelby, and Baneri from Pokemon, Bob's Burgers Louise, we have Bonnie, Funtime Bonnie, Springtrap, and Vanny from Five Nights at Freddy's, Terriermon, Lopmon, and Antilamon from Digimon, Moroku from Full Moon, Doki, and the Triad Bunnies. Gonna pause on them. If y'all have not seen the There She Is animatics that are out there, you can check them on YouTube. I remember watching these when I had dial-up, and I love these animations. I think there's 5 of them, but they mentioned that a new one is coming out. So, you know, please check that out. I love those. Bunny Rabbit from Sonic, Barry from Tokyo Mew Mew, Haruhi, Mikadu, and Yuki from Melancholy of Haruhi Shizumiya. Boy, that's a mouthful. Momiji from Fruits Basket, Judy Hopps from Zootopia, Sakura from Cardcaptor Sakura, Yumigami from Okame, the Splicer from Bioshock, Alice from Bloody Roar, and Usada from Digikerat. So that's a mouthful. That's a full 30 cards. It's a bunny for every day of April. It's a lot, y'all. But thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. If you have a particular bunny that you're upset that I did not get to, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll add them to a bunny list next year. And I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.